Dear students, now we are going to discuss about the arterial supply of heart and the venous drainage of heart. So first, arterial supply of heart. Heart it is supplied by two coronary arteries, right coronary artery and left coronary artery. So we have to discuss the details of right coronary artery and left coronary artery. So first, I will go through the right coronary artery. Right coronary artery, it arises from anterior aortic sinus of ascending aorta. We'll see that point first. See, this is what the heart, and this one is the aorta. I already told you about the parts of the aorta. It is having ascending aorta, then arch of aorta, then it runs downward. That one is a descending aorta. Those are the parts of the aorta: ascending, arch, descending aorta. This ascending aorta here, this anterior part, it shows a bulging. That is what the sinus. That the word sinus means space. Okay, so that bulging here, that bulging which is seen in this aorta, this one is aortic sinus, and this one is the anterior part. This one is seen in the anterior part of the aorta. So anterior aortic sinus. From that anterior aortic sinus, actually that aortic, that bulging is not there in this diagram. So you have to imagine here one small bulging is there. That one is the anterior aortic sinus. So this right coronary artery, see this one is the right coronary artery. See this right coronary artery is arising from that anterior aortic sinus. So first point is clear. It is arising from anterior aortic sinus of ascending aorta. Correct? Now it is the ascending aorta. Now we have to discuss the course, how it runs. First, it runs forward and to the right between the root of the pulmonary trunk and the right auricle and reaches the right coronary sulcus. What is meant by that? See, first this one is a right coronary artery. See, first it runs forward. So this is a forward course. See, from this aorta it runs forward, or it runs anteriorly between the pulmonary trunk. See, this one is the pulmonary trunk. This small part runs, it lies between this pulmonary trunk and this part. This is the right atrium. Okay, right atrium is having this small projection that is a right auricle. So correct now it lies between this right auricle and the pulmonary trunk. First it runs forward between the pulmonary trunk and the right auricle. See, it runs forward between the pulmonary trunk and the auricle to reach the right coronary sulcus. So coronary sulcus, what is the coronary sulcus? It is a groove which is seen between the atrium and ventricle, or atrioventricular sulcus. That groove it is known as atrioventricular sulcus is otherwise known as coronary sulcus. Okay. On the right side it is known as right coronary sulcus. If it is seen on the left side, it is known as left coronary sulcus. So coronary sulcus means nothing but atrioventricular sulcus. So this right coronary artery runs forward and reaches the atrioventricular sulcus, which is side, right side. So it reaches the right atrioventricular sulcus or right coronary sulcus. Okay. See, there it runs downward. Correct? It runs downward. See, first it runs forward in relation with this auricle and pulmonary. Then it runs downward through the right coronary sulcus and reaches the inferior border. See, this is the inferior border. Okay, it reaches the inferior border. Let's see that. So, after reaching this right coronary sulcus, it runs downward through the anterior coronary sulcus or anterior atrioventricular sulcus to reach the junction between the right and the inferior border of the heart, or it reaches the inferior border. Clear? See the course once again. First it runs forward between the auricle and the pulmonary trunk, then it runs downward through the anterior coronary sulcus. Okay. Or right anterior coronary sulcus. Okay, and reaches this inferior border. There it winds down the inferior border. See like this. The remaining course we can see in the inferior surface. See, this is the right border. Sorry, this is the inferior border here. So here it winds on the inferior border and reaches the inferior aspect. For this groove, here it is also. This is also atrioventricle. This is the right atrium. This one is a right ventricle. So this groove it is known as right atrioventricular sulcus or right coronary sulcus. Which part of the right coronary sulcus? Posterior part. Okay, so it reaches the posterior right coronary sulcus. Clear? Posterior right coronary sulcus. See it once again. Atrium, ventricle. So this groove which is seen between these two is known as atrioventricular sulcus or coronary sulcus. Okay, it is right coronary sulcus or right atrioventricular sulcus. It is not the anterior part, it is the posterior part. So this area is known as posterior right coronary sulcus or posterior right atrioventricular sulcus. Okay, so this artery runs downward through the, see here, it runs downward through the anterior coronary sulcus. Then it winds from the inferior border and reaches the posterior coronary sulcus or posterior right coronary sulcus. So here it runs backward, okay, through this posterior coronary sulcus and reaches this area. So this area means how to define that area. See this groove which is seen between these two ventricles. What will be the name? Interventricular sulcus. This groove it is known as interventricular sulcus. This is the posterior interventricular sulcus, not the anterior one. See here, this is what the right ventricle, this is the left ventricle. Here in the anterior part, there we can see another groove. That is what the anterior interventricular sulcus. This is the anterior interventricular sulcus seen between right and left ventricle. Okay, so this anterior interventricular sulcus gradually continues with this posterior interventricular sulcus. So our right coronary artery reaches this posterior interventricular sulcus. Okay, when it reaches the posterior interventricular sulcus, it joins with the left coronary artery and it terminates there. Okay, so this is what the course. We'll discuss it once again. So first it runs forward between right auricle and pulmonary trunk. Then it runs downward through the right coronary sulcus. Which is part of the right coronary sulcus? Anterior part of the right coronary sulcus. So it runs downward through the anterior right coronary sulcus. Then it winds from the inferior border. So it winds from the inferior border. Then after that it runs through the posterior right coronary sulcus. Okay, posterior right coronary sulcus and reaches the upper part of the interventricular sulcus, which is interventricular posterior interventricular sulcus. The upper part of the posterior interventricular sulcus joins with the opposite side artery, means it joins with the left coronary artery. So this is what the course. Okay, see the course. It runs from the inferior border to reach the diaphragmatic or diaphragmatic surface. Here it runs backward in the right posterior coronary sulcus to reach the posterior interventricular groove. There it joins or anastomose with the opposite side artery, means left coronary artery. Now we are going to discuss about the branches. What are the branches? Basically two types of branches. Two types means based on the size. Large branches and small branches. Large branches. What are the large branches? Marginal branch and posterior interventricular branch. We'll see that. See, this is what our right coronary artery. When it reaches this inferior border or near the inferior border, near this margin, see here it gives a branch. Correct? No, let me say large branch. That is what the marginal branch. Okay. Then before it terminates, see here, after reaching this posterior interventricular sulcus, see here it gives one branch. That is what the posterior interventricular branch. Posterior interventricular branch. So this is what the main course. Okay, from this main course or from this main part, it gives a branch. This one is a branch. Where it lies in the posterior interventricular sulcus. That's why it's known as posterior interventricular branch. Okay, clear? So these two are the two major branches. This one posterior interventricular branch. Then here in the inferior border, there we can see the marginal branch. So those two are the two major or large branches, marginal branch and the posterior interventricular branch. Then in addition to that, it gives some small branches. What are they? And it's nodal branch to the SA node and other parts of the conducting system. Okay, so nodal branches, then right atrial branch to the right atrium, then infundibular branch to the infundibulum or outflowing part of the right ventricle, then terminal branches which joins with the opposite side artery, means left coronary artery. We'll see that. See, this is the right atrium. See, here we can see some branches to the right atrium. So atrial branch to the right atrium. Clear? That is clear. Then ventricular branch or infundibular branch. See, I told you it is having one inflowing part and one outflowing part. That outflowing part, it is funnel shaped. In case of right ventricle, I told you inflowing part and outflowing part. That funnel shaped outflowing part, it is known as infundibular. See, these branches to the infundibulum, so infundibular branches. So infundibular branches, right branches, those two are clear. And terminal branches, where see this terminal branches joins with the opposite side artery. Okay, so terminal branches, infundibular branches, right atrial branch. In addition to that, we need passes through this. Here it gives some nodal branches to the conducting system. Okay, so these are the branches. Now we have to go through the left coronary artery. Okay. See, it arises from left posterior aortic sinus. I told you this is here. Here we are having a bulging that is known as anterior coronary sinus. Like that, here we are having one sinus. That sinus, it is known as left posterior sinus. Okay, so it arises from left posterior aortic sinus. And from there, this artery runs forward. Okay, between this pulmonary trunk and this right auricle. Sorry, left auricle. This is the left atrium. Okay, extension of the left atrium is known as left auricle. So that's why we can't see that artery there. Okay, it is overlapped by this pulmonary trunk. Okay, so from this left posterior sinus, this artery runs forward between this pulmonary trunk and left auricle. Okay, and reaches this sinus. This groove, which is seen between left atrium and left ventricle. It is known as left atrioventricular sulcus. Which part of the left atrioventricular sulcus? This is the anterior part. Then it is having one posterior part also. So anyway, first it runs forward between the pulmonary trunk and left auricle. Already, this artery first runs forward and to the left between the pulmonary trunk and left auricle. Okay, then here it gives one branch. It is known as anterior interventricular branch. We have to check it. See, after reaching this area, see here it gives a branch, one major branch, where it lies between these two ventricles. That in that groove. Okay, that groove is known as interventricular sulcus. Which part? This is the anterior part. Posterior part, where it is in the, this is a posterior interventricular sulcus. So this one is an anterior interventricular sulcus. So this artery which lies in this anterior interventricular sulcus, it is known as anterior interventricular artery. It's just a branch of this left coronary artery. This is what the main course of the left coronary artery. See, this one is a main course of the left coronary artery, and this one is a branch of that left coronary artery. So that point is clear. So it runs forward between the pulmonary trunk and left auricle and reaches the left coronary sulcus. After reaching this left coronary sulcus, it gives one branch. Which one? Anterior interventricular branch. Now, the remaining part of the left coronary artery is known as circumflex artery. Means this part, the remaining part means this area is known as circumflex artery. Okay, so this is what actually it is the continuation of this left coronary artery, but after giving this anterior interventricular artery, the remaining part of the left coronary artery is known as circumflex artery. Okay, after giving of the anterior interventricular branch, the artery runs in the left anterior coronary sulcus. That point is already clear. After giving this anterior interventricular artery, this left coronary artery lies in this anterior atrioventricular or anterior coronary. Anterior which side coronary? Left. So anterior left coronary sulcus lies in the anterior left anterior coronary sulcus. See here it after giving that after that sulcus, here it winds around the left border. Okay, see here it winds around the left border and runs through this posterior left coronary sulcus and reaches this upper part of the posterior interventricular sulcus. Okay, it winds around the left border and lies in this groove between the left atrium and left ventricle. It is known as left atrioventricular or left coronary sulcus. Which part of the left coronary sulcus? Posterior part. So this artery winds around the left border and lies in this left coronary sulcus. Okay, posterior part of the left coronary sulcus and reaches the posterior interventricular sulcus. See here it joins with the opposite side artery, means right coronary artery. Okay, it winds around the left border of the heart and continues in the left posterior coronary sulcus. Clear now? Left, this is the left side. Okay, okay, atrioventricular sulcus means coronary sulcus. Which side? Not the right side. This is the left side. Which aspect of the left side? Posterior part. Okay, this is the posterior part. So it lies in the left posterior coronary sulcus and reaches this posterior interventricular upper part. Only this upper part, it reaches the upper part of the posterior interventricular sulcus. There it joins with the opposite side artery. Okay, continues in the left posterior coronary sulcus near the posterior interventricular groove. It terminates by anastomosis, joins with the right coronary artery. Then here branches. See, it gives here also it gives some large branches and small branches. What are the large branches? It gives anterior interventricular branch. I already showed you. See, this one is a anterior interventricular branch. Then it gives branches to the diaphragmatic surface, mainly this diagonal branch. See here, after reaching this area, see here it gives one branch to the diaphragmatic surface. The large branch, it is known as diagonal branch. Okay, so those are the two large branches. In addition to the large branches, it gives some small branches to the left atrium, to the pulmonary trunk, then terminal branches. See, to the left atrium, the branches are not there. So the left atrium, then here to the pulmonary branches to this area of the ventricle, not to the pulmonary trunk. It is here to the ventricle, right ventricle, pulmonary branches to the right ventricle, then terminal branches. Those terminal branches joins with the opposite side artery. Okay, so this is what the course. Then area of distribution. See this area of distribution of left coronary artery. You have to read the area of distribution of right coronary artery. Left coronary artery, it is supplies to left atrium, no doubt. See, when it runs through this groove, it gives some atrial branches. So it is applies to the atrium. Not only to the atrium, it is applies to the left ventricle. Okay, not only to the left atrium and left ventricle, it gives some branches to the right ventricle. Okay, so this part of the right ventricle is supplied by this left coronary artery. Clear? See, this is what the right ventricle. Okay, so some part of the right ventricle is supplied by left coronary artery. Like that, if you are checking this, we'll discuss it later. So, what are the area of supply? See, it supplies to this right atrium, no doubt. Supplies to the left ventricle, no doubt. Then it also supplies to the right ventricle. So, left atrium, left ventricle, a small part of the right ventricle. In addition to that, it supplies to the interventricular septum. So, left atrium clear, ventricle, great part of the, then anterior part of the interventricular septum, then it gives some branches to the AV bundle. Okay, now we have to see the details of this ventricular branches. It supplies to greater part of the left ventricle, except a small area near to the posterior interventricular groove. Okay, see here. This is a posterior interventricular groove. See this posterior interventricular groove, there we can see the posterior interventricular branch of this right coronary artery. So the area near to this supplies to this posterior interventricular branch. Okay, means this part of the left ventricle. This part of the left ventricle which is supplied by posterior interventricular artery. Okay, so greater part of the left ventricle is supplied by this left coronary artery, except a small area near to the posterior interventricular groove. I told you, because of that posterior interventricular groove, there we can see the posterior interventricular artery. It is a branch of right coronary artery. Then a small part of the right ventricle, I told you, it is supplied by this left coronary artery. In addition to that, so left atrium, then ventricles, then part of the interventricular septum. In addition to that, AV bundle. And what are the area of supply of this right coronary artery? Okay, it is not there in this PPT, even though we have to discuss right coronary artery. What are the area of supply? So it applies to this right atrium, no doubt. Right ventricle. Okay, clear. But not the complete part of the right ventricle, except a small area. Complete right ventricle, we can say that complete right ventricle, except a small area near to this interventricular, anterior interventricular sulcus, this area is supplied by the left coronary artery. Okay, so right coronary artery supplies to right atrium, then major part of the right ventricle, except a small area near to this right a small area near to the anterior interventricular sulcus, this area. Okay, it is supplied by the left coronary artery. Then a small part of the left ventricle, this right coronary artery supplies to this left ventricle, a small part of the left ventricle where near to this posterior interventricular sulcus. So this is a posterior interventricular sulcus. There we are having the posterior interventricular branch, which is told you. Okay, so this area of the left ventricle is also supplied by the right coronary artery. Okay, so right coronary artery supplies to right atrium, major part of the left atrium, major part of the left right ventricle, and a small part of the left ventricle. In addition to that, we are having nodal branches. I told you, it supplies to AV node, SA node, then the remaining part except AV node. Okay, so that is what the area of supply of right coronary artery. Keep it in mind, it is not there in this PPT. Okay, that you have to read it from your textbook. So right coronary artery, then left coronary artery, course, branches, area of supply. So these three headings should be there. Okay, course, branches, and area of supply of both right and left coronary artery. Now we are going to discuss about the venous drainage. It is drained by mainly three veins: coronary sinus, then anterior cardiac vein, then vena cavus minima. Mainly we have to discuss about the coronary sinus. Okay, coronary sinus, which is located, it is the largest vein of the heart, and it is located in the left posterior coronary sulcus. Where, so see this one, this is the coronary sinus, this blue color one. where it is seen between the atrioventricular sulcus, which side? Left side. Okay, so that is what the left coronary sulcus. Which part? Posterior part, not in the anterior part. This is the anterior part of the left coronary sulcus, and this is the posterior part. So it is seen in the left posterior part of left coronary sulcus. Clear now? So that's why it's known as left posterior coronary sulcus. It ends by it terminate where it terminate. It opens into the right atrium. These are the some of the tributaries of this right coronary sinus. Okay, what are they? One is great cardiac vein, which accumulates of anterior anterior interventricular artery. What is the name of that vein? Great cardiac vein. Understand? See, great cardiac vein. See this one, this vein. This is what the great cardiac vein. First, it lies along with this anterior interventricular artery. So this one is anterior interventricular artery. Okay, so along with that, we can say the great cardiac vein. Just a minute.